That one's more trouble than it's worth, said Harry. And quite honestly, he turned away from the painted portraits, thinking now only of the four-poster bed lying waiting for him in Gryffindor Tower, and wondering whether Creature might bring him a sandwich there. I've had enough trouble for a lifetime. 19 years later. Epilogue. Autumn seemed to arrive suddenly that year. The morning of the 1st of September was crisp and golden as an apple. And as because of the camera. So this is a performance of the epilogue of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, because the epilogue is set today, September 1st, 2017. So we're going to
Autumn seemed to arrive suddenly that year. The morning of the 1st of September was crisp and golden as an apple, and as the little family bobbed across the rumbling road toward the great sooty station, the fumes of car exhaust and the breath of pedestrians sparkled like cobwebs in the cold air. 2 large cages rattled on top of the laden trolleys the parents were pushing. The owls inside them hooted indignantly, and the red-headed girl trailed tearfully behind her brothers, clutching her father's arm.
It won't be long, and you'll be going too.
2 years! I want to go now! The commuters stared curiously at the owls as the family wove its way toward the barrier between platforms 9 and 10. Albus's voice drifted back to Harry over the surrounding clamor. His sons had resumed the argument they had started in the car.
I won't be in Slytherin!
James, give it a rest.
James, don't give it a rest!
Okay. I only said he might be in Slytherin. There's nothing wrong with that. He might be in Slytherin.
James caught his mother's eye and fell silent. The 5 Potters approached the barrier. With a slightly cocky look over his shoulder at his younger brother, James took the trolley from his mother and broke into a run. A moment later, he had vanished.
You'll write me, won't you?
Every day if you want us to.
Not every day. James says... I don't know. And you don't want to believe everything he tells you about Hogwarts. He likes to laugh, your brother.
Side by side, they pushed the second trolley forward, gathering speed. As they reached the barrier, Albus winced, but no collision came. Instead, the family emerged onto platform 9 3/4, which was obscured by thick white steam that was pouring from the Scarlet Hogwarts Express. Indistinct figures were swarming through the mist, into which James had already disappeared.
Where are they?
We'll find them.
But the vapor was dense, and it was difficult to make out anybody's faces. Detached from their owners, voices sounded unnaturally loud. Harry thought he had heard Percy discoursing loudly on broomstick regulations.
All broomsticks must be ministry approved. First years are not allowed their own broomsticks. Pamela, I see that. That is not a broom. That is a broom. I can see that.
Was quite glad of the excuse not to stop and say hello.
Oh, I think that's them, Al.
A group of 4 people emerged from the mist, standing alongside the very last carriage. Their faces only came into focus when Harry, Ginny, Lily, and Albus had drawn right up to them.
Hi!
Rose, who was already wearing her brand new Hogwarts robes, beamed at him.
It's okay, take your time.
Rose! You're not Ryan, you're Rose? I'm not Rose, you're Rose. I'm not Rose. You're Rose, you're Rose.
I'm Hugo.
You're Rose!
Oh! Anyway, it was wrong, so okay.
Popped all right then. I did. Hermione didn't believe I could pass a muggle driving test, did you? She thought I'd had to confound the examiner.
No, I didn't. I had my complete faith in you.
As a matter of fact, I did confound him. I only forgot to look in the wing mirror, and let's face it, I can use a supersensory charm for that.
Back on the platform,
Supersensory charm. Supersensory charm for that.
Back on the platform, they found Lily and Hugo, Rose's younger brother, having an animated discussion about which house they would be sorted into when they finally went to Hogwarts.
Lily, what house do you want to be in?
I'll be Ron.
I would like to be...
I'm gonna be Ron.
I would like to be... Lily, what house do you want to be in? What? I mean... everything, and the dinner halls, and they have the best.
They all
and they
have
always make
expectations,
great
that is
jokes.
good.
It's
But
great.
Ravenclaw common room is the best room in the school.
Ravenclaw for
in the
me,
school. It's
not
the best, I've heard all about it. Okay, it's the best room in the school.
No, you know what I'd really like to go
What?
to? I would really like to go to Slytherin.
Why?
Because then you could find them and you can make fun of them. That would be such fun, wouldn't it?
But then you'd just be stabbing them in the back.
Well, I'm not a backstabber. I'm more of a front stabber.
Then
if you know
don't
what
go
I
to
mean.
Slytherin.
Yes,
Go to
no.
Ravenclaw or something.
What? If you're not in Gryffindor, I'll disinherit you. No pressure. Come on.
He doesn't mean it.
said Hermione and Ginny, but Ron was no longer paying attention. Catching Harry's eye, he nodded covertly to a point some 50 yards away. The steam had thinned for a moment, and 3 people stood in sharp relief against the shifting mist.
The Malfoy family.
Hold everything. I lost my hair tie.
Oh my god.
This is a mess.
Who says we should start over?
No one.
No.
One and done.
So, did someone say look who it is?
I said look at those.
Okay, Draco Malfoy was standing there with his wife and son, a dark coat buttoned up to his throat. His hair was receding somewhat, which emphasized the pointed chin. The new boy resembled Draco as much as Albus resembled Harry. Draco caught sight of Harry, Ron, Hermione, and Ginny staring at him, nodded curtly, and turned away again.
So that's little Scorpius. Make sure you beat him in every test, Rosie.
Rosie,
Thank
where?
God you inherited your mother's brains.
Ron, for heaven's sake. Don't try to turn them against each other before they've even started school.
You're right. Sorry. Don't get too friendly with him, though, Rosie. Grandad Weasley would never forgive you if you married a pureblood.
Hey! Teddy's back there. Just seen him. And guess what he's doing? Snogging Victoire. Our Teddy! Teddy Lupin! Snogging our Victoire, our cousin. And I asked Teddy what he was doing, and he said... Our Teddy Lupin, okay? You see, snogging
You
our
interrupted
Victoire.
them?
I asked Teddy what he was doing, and he said he'd come to see her off. He's snogging her.
Oh, it would be lovely if they got married. Teddy would really be part of the family then.
He already comes around for dinner about 4 times a week. Why don't we just invite him to live with us and have done with it at that?
Yeah, that would be... I don't mind sharing with Al. He could have my room.
No. You and I will share a room only when I want the household demolished.
He checked the battered old watch that had once been Fabian Pruitt's.
It's nearly 11. You better get on board.
Don't forget to give Neville our love.
Mom, I can't give a professor love.
But you know, Neville,
Outside, yes, but at school he's Professor Longbottom. I can't just walk into herbology and give a professor love.
Shaking his head at his mother's foolishness, he vented his feelings by aiming a kick at Albus.
See you later, Al. Watch out for the Thestrals.
Thestrals, aren't they invisible? You told me they were invisible!
See you later.
But James merely laughed, permitted his mother to kiss him, gave his father a fleeting hug, then leapt onto the rapidly filling train. They saw him wave, then sprint away up the corridor to find his friends.
see you all at Christmas.
Bye, Al.
Said Harry as his son hugged him.
He's Harry and Al.
Yeah, in case you're wondering. Don't forget Harry's invited you to tea next Friday. Don't miss with peeves. Don't duel anyone until you've learned how. Don't let James wind you up. But what if I'm in Slytherin?
The whisper was for his father alone, and Harry knew that only the moment of departure could have forced Albus to reveal how great and sincere that fear was. Harry crouched down so that Albus's face was slightly above his own. Alone of Harry's 3 children, Albus had inherited Lily's eyes.
Albus Severus.
Harry said quietly, so that nobody but Ginny could hear, and she was tactful enough to pretend to be waving to Rose, who was now on the train.
You were named for 2 headmasters of Hogwarts. One of them was a Slytherin, and he was probably the bravest man I ever knew. But just say Slytherin house would have gained an excellent student, wouldn't it? It doesn't matter to us, Al. But if it matters to you, you'll be able to choose Gryffindor or Slytherin. The Sorting Hat takes your choice into account. Really? Good for me.
Said Harry. He had never told any of his children that before, and he saw the wonder in Albus's face when he said it. But now the doors were slamming all along the scarlet train, and the blurred outlines of parents were swarming forward for final kisses, last-minute reminders. Albus jumped into the carriage, and Ginny closed the door behind him. Students were hanging from the windows nearest them. A great number of faces, both on the train and off, seemed to be turned toward Harry.
Why are they all staring?
Don't let it worry you. It's me. I'm extremely famous.
Albus, Rose, Hugo, and Lily laughed. The train began to move, and Harry walked alongside it, watching his son's thin face, already ablaze with excitement. Harry kept smiling and waving, even though it was like a little bereavement watching his son glide away from him. The last trace of steam evaporated in the autumn air. The train rounded a corner, and Harry's hand was still raised in farewell.
He'll be all right.
As Harry looked at her, he lowered his hand and absent-mindedly touched the lightning scar on his forehead.
I know I will.
The scar had not pained Harry for 19 years. All was well.
The end!
Are you all
Take the... Hold Guys, I think I just found the hairband. You did magic. Snape. Snape.
Severus Snape.
Dumbledore.
Snape. Severus Snape.
Dumbledore. Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Ron Weasley.
Severus.
Hermione. 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 Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Harry Potter.
Snape.
Dumbledore.
Snape. Severus Snape.
Take the...